Hello, everybody. Makersart X here. Back at it again to give you another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. Could be a game, could be a console, could be a limited edition. This is my one time out of the week to talk to y'all about something out of my library. And for today, we're going to be talking about none other than Super Paper Mario. Now, with the release of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake for the Nintendo Switch, releasing merely in 2 days. A little odd how they're releasing it on a Thursday when we know Nintendo released their games on Friday, though, but that could be a whole topic for another day, though. I wanted to go through and reflect on one of the first ever Paper Mario games I happened to ever play within the series, though. This was definitely, I would say, the turning point, at least for a lot of Paper Mario fans out there before we got into weird stuff like Sticker Star and stuff, and people just didn't like the direction where the series went from that point moving forward, though. But in today's video, I just want to give my thoughts on this wonderful and beloved game that I just really love and appreciate even still to this day, though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Paper Mario. Now, this game series right here was the first introduction to me being introduced within the Paper Mario RPG series. Now, I did already know about the Mario RPG series in general, thanks to Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. That was like my first introduction to the series right there, though. But with Paper Mario, at least when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, there's a whole nother series of Mario RPGs that's based upon Mario being paper? I was like, wait, what in the world, though? Now, obviously, I know about the other two, in the series that happened before this, Thousand Year Door, as well as the Paper Mario on the 64, though. But at least at the time when I was growing up, I never had a GameCube, so I never knew about Thousand Year Door, and as well as the Paper Mario 64. And I had a Nintendo 64, but I just never got my hands on that version of Paper Mario, though. So this was my first introduction to the series right here, though. Now, in terms of how I got introduced to it, though, I remember it was like back whenever my parents managed to get the Wii. I believe it was my dad, actually. It was like within the first couple of years of launch or something like that, though. He managed to pick up the Wii. Obviously, it came with Wii Sports, and everybody and their mama had that game, though. But at least whenever he picked it up from, it might have been GameStop or something like that, though. He managed to get like some kind of bundle deal where it came with 3 other games. And I know one game had to be Mario Party 8, another one had to be Broomstick Bowling, but then the third one had to be Super Paper Mario, though. Obviously, I put a lot of time in Mario Party 8 and Wii Sports. I wasn't going to mess with the Broomstick Bowling that much because, Wii Bowling was a little bit better, just saying, though. However, with Paper Mario, I was like, you know what? I did not know they had another, RPG series for Mario, and it's all made out of, or the primary concept was him being paper. I was like, that's just completely new. But I knew with it being a Mario game, I was bound to like it, though. And oh shoot, after putting so much time up into it, I think the biggest thing that I think I could pull away from Super Paper Mario is how well that story is told. Now, obviously, Mario RPG games like, Partners in Time or, Bowser's Inside Story, those have some very good stories, from start to finish. It was pretty solid. I really liked them. However, this one right here hit on a whole nother level. It felt like you had some actual stakes, which you don't necessarily have that feeling, at least within, just Mario games in general, where you have like the side spin-off stuff, like, with the Mario sports series or something like that. They try to tell little stories up in that, though. And then obviously you have like a whole bunch of other little things like, like the 3D Mario or the 2D Mario series, though. Obviously there's a general story up in those games, though, but it's not like anything overarching or anything that's like, wow, like that was just great. But this one right here, I think it set the definitions of how you tell a good story. Obviously, I know Thousand Year Door probably told a good story as well. I'm about to find out about that here in the next couple of days or so, though. But at least with this one, man, oh man, that sets some golden standards, at least for me personally. Now, in terms of the whole plot, characters, the basic premise of this game, yes, you're going around with Mario. You do have Peach as a playable character. You have Bowser. Even Luigi's playable, but he's not playable until like later in the late game, though. But basically, you have Mario and crew, and they're basically trying to go around collecting these pure hearts because this evil antagonist of the game known as Count Bleck basically was trying to force a marriage between Bowser and Peach, which basically allowed a Chaos Heart to pop up, though. And with this Chaos Heart, he was trying to use its energy to basically wipe out the whole entire universe that they are actually residing in and to rebuild a new one, though. That's, you don't see a lot of plots like, at least like that within the Mario series where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna wipe everything out of existence and rebuild it from the ground up. We've seen this done several times over within like, other different movie franchises and stuff like that. But for expecting Nintendo to delve up in it, I was like, what the heck? Now, obviously, you're going around with these different characters and stuff, and I know one of the big major gimmicks, at least with Mario's power, is the fact that you're able to flip from 2D to 3D, which is like, you know what, that's a little bit interesting. It's like, you're always used to, running through a platformer in 2D though, but the flip between 2D and 3D like that was kind of a little bit interesting though. Obviously, if you were playing with Peach, you have a little glide ability. Bowser, you're able to blow fire, and then Luigi had like this really massive, super hot move where it's like you charge it, you're crouching down, and you just shoot sky high with it though. So those are basically the powers of the four basic people though. Now you obviously had pixel abilities as well, where you're able to collect these little. I don't even know what you really call them. I mean, they're called pixels, but I feel like they should be called something else though. But it allows you to, they each have a very unique ability. Like you have one that has like a throwing power, you have one where you can place it down and basically detonate a bomb wherever you choose to please. So yeah, so each one of these pixels had different unique powers that help you with either traversal or fighting in general though. So you have a lot of different diversity up in here. Now obviously the combat in this game is basically like an action RPG that just happens to be within the 2D plane, or 3D if you're having to be flipping and doing some work with Mario though. That's very different in contrast compared to the first two games in the series from the 64 and the Thousand Year Door, because those ones are turn-based RPGs, and then they flipped it for some oddball reason and did a 2D action series. Now, for a lot of people, that battle mechanic might have put off a lot of people that really loved the first two games in the series though. At least for me personally, I didn't have any knowledge of the first two, so this was my starting premise of it. So I was like, you know what, I actually really like this. Now, even though some people might not necessarily like the way how combat is handled within this one, as it's just kind of real time, you're just kind of jumping on enemies or exploding or hitting them in certain kind of various ways though, nobody can really disregard how well the story was actually told. Like I remember going through one of the worlds, and it was really cool. It was like basically a fighting tournament. It felt like it went on forever though, but it was really interesting, the concept or the premise of it though. But you're literally going through fighting different enemy waves on and on and on. It was a race against the clock, because if you notice when you're looking up at any one of the worlds you happen to be traversing and stuff like that, thanks to Count Bleck using the power of the Chaos Heart, you will notice that in the sky there's like a little purple cloud or something. I don't know, little void or something like that. That's basically an ever growing void that's basically going to wipe out whatever world you happen to be residing in. And a lot of worlds happen to be small or almost very non-existent, and other worlds happen to be a little bit bigger though. So you can kind of tell as you're going through and traversing through this journey, trying to get all of these pure hearts to basically stop Count Bleck, that the clock is ticking. Like you got to hurry up, or else something's going to get wiped out. And with this one world in particular, where you're going through and fighting all of these enemies, wave after wave after wave, that thing is so big and massive up in the sky. It felt like you had mere minutes, and it really was, because literally as you're going on throughout the stage and stuff like that, there is a moment where time is up and the world is about to get wiped out. You have to, exit stage left and get out of there and get the heck out of Dodge, because literally you barely managed to escape with your life. And by the time you come back, it's nothing, just a void of whiteness. And I was like, what on earth? You literally start off at the beginning of the world and you just run on forever. It feels like it takes forever for you to get all the way to the tail end. And when you do run across that pure heart, it's like sapped out of all of its energy and stuff. You take it anyway to see if you can do something with it though. But it's like that just goes to shows the stakes of how much of a threat Count Bleck was, at least within this game. There are plot twists and stuff like that. I won't get into all those nitty gritty details and stuff, and I'll leave the rest of y'all to play it if you haven't already played this game though. But regardless, man, there were some stakes in this game, and you can feel it from the start of the adventure all the way to the tail end, and then even in that final boss rush run, towards the very end of the game where sacrifices were made. I'll just leave it at that though. But like, man, Super Paper Mario got you feeling some kind of type of way though, and it always kind of felt like you were on the edge, trying to hurry up with this race against the clock and trying to get all these pure hearts to stop this dude though. I don't know. I love all the character interactions. I love the different villains and stuff like that. It's not just Count Bleck. He has like a whole bunch of other subordinates and stuff like that. Like one that's like chunky, that's like really big with the muscles, and you have like I think the dude's called Demento or something like that though. Yeah, you had to keep an eye on that dude though. And then there's like a handful of other ones though too though. But regardless, I really love the Super Paper Mario game right here. I mean, I think the story in and of itself managed to hold this game up so high though. But even when you're going around traversing around with these different worlds and stuff, every world that you manage to go to has a completely different, unique feel and a different vibe. There's a lot of different enemies and stuff that you manage to happen to fight. You know, you can't always jump on the same enemies. You might have to use pixels to help pick up, throw, or blow up something half the time though, or you have to rotate between your different characters because some characters such as Bowser is a little bit stronger though, but Peach is a little bit more agile, but then Mario's a good all around and stuff like that. It had a nice blend and balance for everything that the game had to offer within this one game though. Now, obviously, from this point moving forward, when you got into other games such as Sticker Star, Color Splash, and the Origami King and stuff like that. Origami King's a little bit better, but I know for sure Sticker Star and Color Splash. That's when, you know, moving from this point forward in the Paper Mario series, that's where a lot of people started to get their little beef up on there though. But at least for me personally, Super Paper Mario, with the introduction and me being introduced in the Paper Mario series, man, I can't give no knocks to this game because this game is just freaking incredible. If you hadn't played it, I highly recommend it. Don't have the mindset of, you know, you're gonna get that same kind of style of action as like the 64 and the GameCube versions though, but in and of itself, from the story alone, this is just a great and phenomenal game. Y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about Super Paper Mario? Have you managed to play through this game? Do you really like it? Or is it not necessarily your cup of tea because you might have preferred the first two games in the series though? Or in quite contrast, you know, you really like this game in comparison to some of the other games you managed to get a little later in the series? And are you excited for, you know, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake that's happened to be coming out on the Switch in a mere couple of days, at least from the time that I'm going to be dropping this video though? But yeah, that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like it, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.